Yeah. So this is a data set. This data set is kind of dirty. What we want to do is just to clean it up, and I'm just going to try as much as possible in this example to explain one or two things we've tried to at least work on past few days now, no more than a week. Today is the 13th day of August. So I can say that this is the raw data. Then before, as I've said earlier on, whenever we are working on data, we have to have our um, a copy of the raw data so that you work on then other data you can now work on it. And what I mean by that is just to click on these right click on these sheets. Do you understand? Right click on this sheet. I'll try as much as possible to break down whatever we've done so far in Excel. Do you understand? So that you can able to comprehend. So this sheet is just like a paper, a book, or a page, rather a page in a book. So we want to have a duplicate of this file, of this data rather, in another page. You understand? So for me to you can either use Control C to copy, or if you want to duplicate, you can just maneuver to this move of copy and create a copy. You understand? And click on OK. Then you rename them so that you will be confused because they are the same. So I can decide that this should be called workings and you want to clean, right? You can call it workings. Then you can call this raw. So I'm going to put the raw as first, then workings as second. So I can say that initially it's kind of have a borderline at the top. And other things that I've explained earlier on that you can you can view your grid lines and you can also hide your grid lines. If you want to do that, you come to your view tab, and as you can see here, you can either uncheck for it. When you check for your grid lines, you will find your grid lines again and will check back again. Boom, here they are. But this morning I just want to going back to my tab. I just want to have a borderline. And most times when you have a borderlines, you can it will be very very beautiful or very very cool to just uncheck for your grid lines. But I want to have a borderline one. Then I want to make sure that my cells, all these cells, they are really well seen, visible. So you come to your file options, options, advanced. Then you scroll down for a while. Yeah, then you get the options right here. You want to paint it, you want to check. Let's paint it to black to make it more visible. Yeah, that's good. I think it's more visible right now. And we can decide to border it to make it more okay, right? Can decide to highlight or when you need to highlight or you can make use of Control A. But since you want to make use of grid line, okay, before we make it of grid line, you can okay, let me just work on that. Then I'll undo that. Then we'll go straight to our planning. Then we can just Control Shift on your keyboard, then left, the left direction on your keyboard, then down. So this we have over 1021 data or rows, rather rows that we want to work on. So go back to the top menu and use of my control minus to go back to the top level. But I'm not deleting anything. Control minus can also be used to delete rows. or blank rows. Do you understand? I want to do some rows, but I don't want to do that. So that is one of the shortcuts keys. Control minus to go back to the first row. So I want to make use of your borderline and come down to this side, the front tab, and all borders, right? But since I want to clean, and if I want to clean, obviously there will be uh, more more columns to be used. So I will rather not insert a borderline because I'm still going to make use of the filter function. So I'm just showing you so that you can know how it is being done. So that is that for that. So I'll click on Ctrl Z to uncheck for the borderline. Yeah. Now, having when you want to start your data cleaning is just the ability for you to make use of data to be more visible, to be more accessible. You understand? To be more consistent. Let's assume you want it to be in capital letters, you don't want it to be in small letters, you don't want to have mixture, all those stuffs. That is how to do that. And you want to have a defined content. So that is what data cleaning is about. So that by the time you want to analyze, there's a way to assimilate and understand more better, right? Now, the first thing I do say is that when you want to start data cleaning, you you try to remove duplicates. Try to remove duplicates, and when you want to remove duplicates, you have to maneuver yourself to your data tab. And when you get to data tab, you see the remove duplicates right there. You see the thing you notice that tabs, all the columns rather, all the columns headers will be shown to you that which one do you want to remove. But since you are cleaning data, it's obviously you want to check for everything. So you don't have to uncheck one column. So you click on OK, boom. So we can find about 20 duplicate values found and removed. So we are left with 1000 unique values remain. So if I should come down again and make use of to check my rows now, I should have like 1001 or 1000. So let's check down. Yeah, 1001, right? So that is that about that. So that is the first step. No, that is second step rather. The first step is duplicate your raw data, and the second step is to do what? Is to remove duplicates. Then the next step is now to start to filter. I try to make it a filter button because it's kind of to make it more easier to quickly analyze all the details in each column. What do I mean by that? The filter is also under the data tab. Just click on this, right? Then if I click on workings, it will give me, don't worry about that. If you see, if you if you see what is it called? This first column, you can see that we have the blank space. We have names that are just unique. Understand? I was able to drag them out. So that's the first one. I think I want to make it more good. I'll just get it like this so that everything will be visible at once. Then I want to center everything all. Center everything all. So that's that about that. And the minutes. And yeah, and the next thing to do in this scenario is to start working on each column. Do you understand? Start working on each column. And the first one column here says workings. I will call it name. I'm not going to call it workings. I'll call it name. All right. Then apart from that, I can see that we have so many um is in capital letter, right? But can't leave it like that. Let's just put it in a normal way. So we can try to put it in proper um case, which means that capital letter for the first letter. So for the first alphabet. So you can do that by getting a column behind it. Okay, done. Then right click, then insert. So all I want to do is just to make sure that all this data here should be in proper case. So how am I going to do that? But I'm going to make use of two values, the trim and the proper case. Trim is used to eradicate unwanted spaces in a data. So just look how I'm going to type that. That will be proper trim. So I try to make use of proper and trim at the same time. I'm telling the user that I'm giving an order that clean this data and turn it to a proper case text. So that is A2, then double bracket. So that is that about that. So for me to drag down or double click, boom. So I can call this name, right? So that is that about the first one. Then the second group rather is group D. So I can see blanks there. So definitely I will check for blanks also, right? Then okay. Let me see if there's a blank here too. Okay, there's no blank. Okay. So I think groups, the columns under this, the data under this group, they are okay. Then for the products, they're cool. They're cool. Except, okay, they are cool, but if you can check down, there are some that are in small letter, So you have to do the same thing the way you did for names. So come down here and if maybe you don't see what I've noticed, let me just check it down again. Now, something like this is in lowercase, mouse is in lowercase, tablet is in lowercase. We don't want something like that. We want everything to be unique. So I'll repeat the other steps again. So I'll repeat that steps again. Yeah. So that is that number one. Then equals proper string. Then D2. D2 is the cells that are working on. Then double put. So something like this again. Then rename it as products. Good. Yeah, we go. Then the next thing we can do here is our date format. This date format, if I click on any of them, is obviously show me what I don't want. First thing, I want to remove the blank space first. Very important. I don't want the blank space to be there. Then next thing is to change this date format to date. It's under general here, so I want to change to short date. Right. To short date, which is cool. Depending, you can also format yours, right? Making use of this, then yeah, boom, can do whatever you want to do. But I think I'm cool with this. So that is that about that. Then the quantity, right? and unit price, they need to work on them. But before I work on them, I can see that the unit price is a little bit having decimal. So I want it to be in a whole number. So I can just click on this and change it to a whole number by decreasing the decimal values right here. So if it's not done, maybe okay, let me start like this. Okay, yeah. So it's more unified right now. So let me just try to, insert. Then the formula for revenue is the unit price times quantity. You multiply the unit price and quantity. So equal sign this multiply by this. Boom. So that is that. I'll rename this as revenue. Boom. Um, the next thing to do is this. Let me see if there's any what is it called? If there's any mistake, any okay, I think it's cool. So our next thing, yeah. But to avoid that, we can just do that again to trim it and proper trim proper trim proper. Then J2, then boom, you rename that as region. Rename that as region. Now, having done this, you notice that we have. I'm going to start with okay, let me start with the last column, which is key. So when I try to maneuver them, I'm getting formulas at the formula bar here. I want something like this under the J column, just the name alone. So how will I do that? I have to paste as values. We call it paste as value to substitute as to remove unwanted formulas. So what are you going to do is copy, right? Then go back to the original data, then option, then paste as values, right? Now, so that's cool. So you can delete it later. Yeah, cool. So this is neat and clean now. Um, I think we also do that for products. Control C, just copy, then paste as value. Yeah, then you can delete this also, then delete the column as well. Then last time name, and paste as what as a value. So we paste as value. I'm gonna try to do that again. Copy. then paste as value, then we delete this, right? And that's that about that. So having done that, we can share can compare what we've done with the raw data, right? So now we can now decide to maybe to make it more okay, can try to add our border lines, like I said earlier on. Control Shift there, right key, then down. Now we are left with 955 data. 955 data. Wow, I can see something here. I can see a blank space here. So definitely work on that. Work on that for minutes. No? So I can decide to call the blank space something. Now, before I try to do the shading, I can decide that okay, the quantity is 0, right? So this is what I'm going to do. Control G, special blanks, right? Okay, so it's going to find me the locate all blank space in this column in a few minutes. So now we know that, we instruct it on what to do next. Let me stop and do that again. Let's take it too long. Control G, slash blanks. Okay, as you can see right here is reading some cells over here. Oh, the reason why is in that it's picking all the points. So all I have to do is something like this. Control Shift down, 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 down. Or Control Shift end. You know. Okay. Minutes. So I think it's trying to highlight up because of this the blank space. So which is shift and coming. Um Trying to say something. Wow, it's a lot. Okay. I think the only option for now is trying to, I'd rather bring it down here and just shift down. This will be better. So in just few minutes, get past this. On the norms, it's supposed to be Control Shift down, but due to I've already clicked on the whole file and I'm trying to search for the blank space, so it generated all of that, unwanted blank space on itself. So, but it's just 900 plus. So I'm left with this. Okay, it's about 600 right now. Yeah. So next few few seconds, I get to the last data. This is very tedious. This all don't have to do this with a mistake from my side. Okay, and here we go. So there are some data. So it's obvious if you look at down, there are some data that are unwanted. So I have to do that. But let me work on this first. Control G. Then I want to turn those blank space to 0. So we can see it's already aligned them. So I'll just say is 0, then Control Enter. Do you understand? Control Enter. So I should see Control Enter for all. Control Enter for all. So that will do. Yeah, we're able to do that. Then in this case also, down there, let me try again. Shift, Control Shift down. Okay. Since data for this is not available, you can just highlight all these, right? Highlight them and delete because they are incomplete. Yeah, they are incomplete. So how is that about that? So do I still have any empty space? Okay. Let me check for the files that are empty. I want to check for files that are blank. Okay. Select all. Good. Then same as well. Yeah, that is one of the things of one of the procedures for data cleaning. We will make sure that all files are well cleaned up, right? Then date. Okay. I can check for date again and check for everything, right? Then only for blanks again. Okay. So we have not really much. So I can decide that um, none, right? I can decide to say none for them also for dates or delete them or check. I don't want to see them. I don't want to see for dates. Okay. I'll work on quantity. Then price also still the same. Revenue will be okay. Then region. Good. So now having done that, we can you know try to we have 955 left. So the next thing we can do in this process is to just add our border line. Yes, border line. And we are able to clean. That is what we call data cleaning. All what I've done now is data cleaning. Then we can compare with our raw data. This is how the data looks like when it was given, and this is now a processed one. So the next thing to do is pivot chart, and that is the major reason why I'm trying to explain this data, this file rather. So what we're going to do is what is called pivot table, pivot charts. Pivot tables helps to summarize your data, categorize them to your desired categories. Do you understand? I'm going to explain that in a jiffy. So you go to your insert. Of course, we have recommended one, but I can have ours by ourselves. Then the first one says we should select the tables you want to work on. Obviously, we want to work on all columns, and automatically it has done that for us. Then the next option is choose where you want the pivot report to be placed. It's advisable you create a new sheet. It should be done in a new sheet. You understand? So you don't have to do that on an existing sheet like this. So automatically, if I click on OK, it's going to bring us to create a new sheet and work on it. Let's go. Boom. So these are pivot sheets. So I can decide to bring it back to the right hand side. Now, if you look at this very well, you have so many, it's just like a sheet on its own, but you know, it's cool. But I want to also repeat what I did right time to make sure that all cells are, you know, can see them very well. So that is colored it to black, right? Then okay. Now I can decide that okay, I want to know the products. It's just about you drag the this is a pivot fit, dragging it to the row, right? These are the products we have, and let me say the revenue generated. Now you can see it says count of revenue. There are so many options on settings on how to you can generate the average revenue, the sum, you know, and the rest. And how to do that is click on this valued fit settings. There's the maximum, but I want the sum. Okay, as you can see, so for each product, these are the revenue generated from them. That is number one. So this is called a pivot table. This is called a pivot table. This is called a pivot table. So you see, it automatically summarize everything. So on that keyboard, you have over, for instance, 5,670. And there's something you can do again. You can come back to these workings, right? And try to give your revenue, change it to currency. It's under general. Do you understand? So it will have more meaning. Let's say it's in dollars. Okay. My program I want to be in naira. So let's say it's in naira. Okay. So I'll come back to my sheet here and refresh, analyze, pick up and analyze and refresh all. So to refresh, it's other ways to clean data I've explained yesterday was can make use of your Power Query, and that is a little bit much faster and easier. Do you understand? Faster and easier to work on. So I'll be able to do that. Then that is number one thing. The next thing we can do is to classify others. Let me just try to classify like three more, so you know the meaning, how useful pivot chart is. So instead of you going back to this place, right, and create another pivot tables in another sheet, you can do all of that here. All you have to do is just copy this, then maybe come down here and Control V. So then you just do your sort of like editing. So this time around, I want to classify products by regions, right? Or regions, no, I don't want to classify regions by sum of revenue again. So I'll just say regions here, then remove it again, right? So this is what each regions were able to generate. Then we don't maybe it's for a year or quarterly or maybe half of the year, right? Then other things we can do here, you can try to decrease the value again, decimal value rather, something like this, something like this to make it more sharp, depending on your taste. That is that about that. The next one is um let's see how date looks like. But if I want to do it, I have to firstly change it to quarterly or manually, but I didn't do that, so I have to avoid that for now. Then name. So let me copy this first. That will be the third one. Ctrl C and Ctrl V. Right. Then let's edit again. So let me put name here. That's how it looks like. So if with this name now, let's say we want to know names that are involved for the first one, like names of each region, how they participated, how they're able to sell their products. You understand? So something like this is, I think, is pretty much important for us to see how it goes. So, yeah. So that is that about that. So having done that, the last thing to do here, you can generate as much as possible depending on what you feel you want to generate from, right? So I just like to generate these three for now. Um, so this is what we call pivot tables. The next thing is pivot charts. Pivot charts helps us to visualize what we've done to make it more meaningful. Now, what do I mean by that? So let's assume this, you want to take it, you want to visualize it more. Then you can get that under the insert button, insert tab. You can see this recommended chart of a theme. I can decide that I want it in a column chart. You understand? A column chart like this. Good. Then drag it to this area. Then I can say this, you can rename this as sum of revenue by products. Sum of revenue per product. Revenue per product. As you like. Nope. Sum of revenue per product. Bring it back to the middle. Okay. Um. Then you can have other things you talk about. So you can add as titles like this, data labels, data table, if you really think it's necessary. Sometimes they are necessary, thread lines, you know. But I'm sure do you think we can go for as titles? I think they are cool on its own. If I remove the as now, it's just like this, but I want to leave it like this. I like it like this. Then ending, I can decide to chat title, or Control Z of data labels. Then I can delete this or leave it like that. Then also I can try to um color it, make it more beautiful, right? Then how do we do that? Um try to bring this down. Design. Click on the design tab here, right? So we have so many colors. You can see when I'm moving them, it's changing. So maybe we should just do something like this. right? Then if can decide to change it something like this to make it more okay. I think this one is cool. Then I can remove the grid lines. So depending on how good you are in the some people with their good design they can make it one better. But the thing is that don't make it complex. Let it pass a meaningful information, right? So that is that about the first one. And the second one as well. Let's try to create another one. Um this time around I want to go with what's it? um I don't want to go with good morning, ma. Do not 3D. Said he's sick. He complained yesterday that he's sick. And this morning dropped the message that I won't be able to come live, that is kind of weak, that is not going to make it. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. So I decided to change it to do not chat under the pie chart, and also rename this as well again as sum of revenue per region, right? Sum of revenue per region. Yeah. So that is that about that. So I think let me try to bring this, make it this more smaller, or or yeah, something like this. Okay, then you can just expand it to left. Okay. The third one, I'm going to try to um bring it down a little bit so that it will accommodate more images. Yeah. So this one, let's try to add. I don't want to use a clustered column. A clustered column we kind of should I use a bar chart? Mm, um, it's a little bit. It doesn't give a full meaning of what I want. So if that should be the case, I can now go back there and try to do a little bit of an editing, right? And let me delete this and do that again. Come back here to see, Control V. Then of course the pivot table. Yeah, let me delete this. Then come back to this and create another one. Mm, okay. So let me try to add instead of revenue this time, we haven't talked about group. The group should be under a column or row. Then let me say region, or region should be here too. Then let me see their names. Just trying to do something. Okay, remove this under this name. Remove this. Then yeah. Then revenue here. So this time around, let me use the average revenue. I'm not going to use sum. Let me say average. Then I like this and change it to a whole number. Same as this. Good. So move it to the right. Um, can try to add our this again. This time around, we can add a bar chart or a cluster chart again. Let me give a case of this. Then one thing about it is that try to make use of same color. You rename as average revenue per group, average revenue per group, per group. Then this color again, I think I choose something like this. It doesn't matter, something like this anyway. But most importantly, um, I think this is okay. Then I can decide to let's see more options. Okay, this is okay, but I can decide to remove the grid lines, right? I don't want to see the grid lines. Okay, so these then the color of this category will be okay since we are making something like this. So that's cool. So this is like the out of the like 4 or 5 steps in data analytics. This is like the number four. You get the data first, you clean, you analyze. So we're analyzing it now. This is just like the basic the meaning of what we've been doing so far. The last thing is just to present, compile all these charts in another sheet. So so that is that or that. And you can try to select here to again. I said, okay, you want to save for just north and south. So there's the beauty of it. You see, what I want for her. Select for all. Yeah. So that is pivot shape, pivot table and pivot charts. Let me try to bring it like this. Yeah. Pivot table and pivot chart. So call it pivot table slash chat slash pivot table chat. Okay, so we are able to remember this is where we start from, something like this. We try to modify it to this, right? And from there we change it to this. So that is that about that. That is explanation for pivot table and chat. Thank you.